unit. You guys just finished statistics and data and looking at data resources last week. And what you guys probably found is that a lot of this data, we're curious about the chances of something happening or the probability of something happening. And remember, our big idea for this unit is failure is part of the process. It's expected and accepted. It helps us learn. So how many of you would say, by a show of hands, that probability deeply affects you every single day of your life? Okay, I have one person, maybe. So most of us, when we think about probability, we're like, nothing even comes to mind. I mean, there's some pictures up here, there's some dice, cards, I don't know, the weather. But most of us, when we think about probability, it's like a foreign concept, right? So this next portion of the lesson is what I like to call where in the world, okay? And these are examples of probability in the world. So, for example, the weather forecast. There's a 60% chance of rain tomorrow. It's actually 100%, but vacationing. When you're on vacation, maybe in a tropical area, you might be concerned about the probability of a hurricane or severe storm. That's something to pay attention to. Probability is used all the time in politics. Who's going to win the election? Is my vote going to get counted? Is it going to get counted incorrectly? What's the probability of that happening? Medical researchers use this frequently when trying to predict, for example, certain people having certain diets, if that increases their chance of having heart disease, cancer, right? Investors, when they want to calculate the risk of an investment, this is important. They use probability. Is my stock going to decrease, increase, when, how, why? That all has to do with probability. Engineers, I would say that this is what affects us most, is sometimes our safety is in the hands of probability, right? How likely is it that this plane will crash, right? Sometimes that crosses our mind. How likely is it that my seatbelt will malfunction, right? Those are all chance experiments. And then, of course, there's just your everyday card games, dice games, even video games. Those all have to do with chance experiments and probability. So maybe after hearing these examples, how many of you would say probability deeply affects you on a day-to-day basis? More or less, right? Perfect. And if you're not quite convinced, okay, I have one more example, but it's a little bit of a story, and so I need you guys to close your eyes and try to imagine this along with me. Okay, if you don't feel comfortable closing your eyes, you can just put your hands over your face or put your head down. So, you're just getting out of class, okay? This is morning class, really long, and you are so hungry. I mean, like, your stomach is audibly growling right now. You are so hungry. Okay, and you're walking into the building, you're exhausted, you're hungry, and you pass by a vending machine and you stop. You think to yourself, oh, should I buy that pack of fruit snacks for 75 cents? You're hungry, you're starving, right? So you're like, okay, I should probably buy the pack of fruit snacks. I'm going to do it because after all, fruit snacks have the little grape cluster things in there, and those are your favorite. You love the grape cluster things. Those are your favorite fruit snacks. So you're like, okay, I'm hungry. Fruit snacks are my fave. Gotta buy these. So you put in your 75 cents. You get your fruit snacks, and as you're walking home or driving home, you open up your pack. You're super pumped. You're ready to eat some grapes. But there's not a single grape clustered fruit snack in your packet. Not a single one. And you're like, what are the chances? All right, you guys can open your eyes. So maybe your story stops there and you're just kind of sad, upset. But maybe you really ask yourself, what are the chances that you don't get a single grape fruit snack in your pack? So I'm sure that we all imagined our fruit snack packet a little bit differently. So I want you guys to discuss, I'll have you three kind of discuss really quick, and you two discuss what your pack looked like, the size, what you imagined in your head. Go ahead, just a few seconds. Go ahead and chat.
So the superior fruit snack is obviously Scooby-Doo.
Using my head and then I
Scooby-Doo.
like open it.
Sorry, like it's well, maybe like I've never found a fruit snack I like that.
I'm great at this game. So are we discussing what we think the chances are?
So what kind of pack did you imagine a fruit snack?
I imagine like
Yeah.
I also imagine.
Okay, so if we could come back together, I just want to compare and contrast. Olivia and Hope were talking about a small pack of fruit snacks, like the Fruit Smiles packs, right? And this group over here, they were thinking maybe my pack's a little bit bigger. Do you think that affects your chances of not getting any grapes?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why would you say yes?
because if you have more fruit snacks, there's a higher chance you'll have at least one.
Yeah, that was really well put, right? If you have more fruit snacks, there should be a higher chance that you're going to get a grape cluster. Does that always have to be the case? You're shaking your head no, Olivia. Could you explain?
I don't think, I mean, it has to always be the case, but that would give you the greater outcome of if you're hoping to get a great one, I would pick a bigger pack over a smaller pack. But it's kind of just luck. Maybe in a small pack you get a grape as well.
Right, it doesn't have to be the case, right? But we would think, you know, if our sample size was bigger, right, if the number we were dealing with was bigger, then our chances would be higher. Versus if we take like a small sample size of 5 fruit snacks that are in your little pack, the chances of not getting a grape is probably pretty likely, right? So that's one of our vocabulary words, sample size. Another one of our vocabulary words is probability. Of course, we're talking about the chance of getting a grapefruit snack, right? That's probability. And then your other one of your vocabulary words is outcome. And the outcome was that we didn't get any. She didn't get any grapes. Okay. So let's take a look at our vocabulary words. Here they are. So we have likely, unlikely, certain, impossible, and then probability, outcome, and sample space. Now, I'm sure these first 4 you're a little bit more familiar with than these last 3. So we're going to go ahead and formalize these words. So probability, here's the definition. The chance that some event will occur or how likely an event is. And here's an example. The probability or chance that a rock sinking to the bottom of a bucket of water. You guys think that, for example, this probability is likely, certain, or impossible? Olivia?
I would say certain.
Certain, right? We know that if it's just a bucket of water, the rock is heavier. Here's a little bit of science, right? The rock is heavier than the water. It's going to sink to the bottom of the bucket. So who else can think of some type of probability experiment other than this example? Good. Yeah. If we're talking about dice, you go ahead and roll that dice. What's the chance I get a 6? Probably, I don't know. We don't know, right? Could not. It's possible. That's a chance experiment. Okay. Next is outcome. And this definition says a possible result in a probability or chance experiment. So as Hope was saying, you know, it's an outcome that I would get a 6. Okay, it's also an outcome that I would get heads. Who else can think of an outcome in some chance experiment? Some kind of outcome. James?
Can you repeat the question and then I'll answer?
Yes, so we're looking for an outcome in a chance experiment. So for example, heads is an outcome of flipping the coin. Can you think of a different scenario where we have an outcome? Sure.
Pulling out the jack of spades when you're trying to just pull it or a card comes out.
Great. So we have rack of cards. Somebody says pick a card. What are your chances that you're going to get a jack of spades? Jack of spades would be your outcome. Okay, or your outcome would be the ace of hearts, and you didn't get it, right? All right, so our last definition here is sample space. And so this is the set of all possible outcomes of an event. So everything that could happen is what's called your sample space. So for example, when I'm rolling a dice, there are 6 possible outcomes, right? I could get a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that would be my sample space, all of those. Can somebody think of a different probability experiment and let me know their sample space? Yes, Olivia.
You have like a bag, and then in the bag you have like 2 blue marbles, 1 green, and 4 red. That would be your sample space.
Yes. So those marbles in there would be your sample space. The 4 green, 2 red. I don't know what you said. Yes, but that's exactly right. Those would be our sample space. Sometimes when we're doing like statistics, as you guys saw in your last unit, sometimes your sample space is a people group. It could be this classroom, right? This classroom could be our sample space. The list of names on our class roster could be a sample space, right? And the outcome might be that we get Nicole, or the outcome might be that there are 25 E's in all of our names put together. Okay, good. So we are going to segue into talking about some probability, and we are doing it through a mystery experiment. So put on your detective hats, get out your spy glasses, okay? Because we are going to try to see if we can uncover the mystery of what are in each of these bags. Okay, now I don't want anybody to freak out because these are candy. So one bag has, bag 1 has Jolly Ranchers, and then bag 2 has Laffy Taffies. Okay, so don't freak out when you're sticking your hand in here. But what I'm going to have everybody do is pick a candy. And yes, you can eat your candy, but not until the end of class. Okay. So abstain from eating your Jolly Rancher, but we'll have everybody pick a candy, and we're going to try to figure out what are in these bags. Okay. And hand sanitizer, everybody's information is in the bag. So I'll have you guys sanitize. Now, no peeking either. Okay. Okay, what color did you get?
Got cherry.
Cherry. Okay, we got 1 cherry. What do we get? Great. Great. All right. Yeah. Watermelon. Watermelon. Hey.
It's not safe.